Man, what's up? I
Oh,
think I'm
wow.
live too.
Yes,
There's a, I don't know if there's an echo going on or what.
there is an echo.
There is an echo. This is welcome to our simulcast that we may or may not have gotten right.
We did this once before, but it worked. This time,
This
are you
time
hearing
it's,
do you hear an echo when I speak?
I don't hear an echo. I hear like you're kind of tin canny.
Yeah. Let me check. Oh, I know what it might be. The settings on your one are probably, no. Let me try.
It could just be the way it comes in on my headphones, though. But I think for you, you might want to put headphones in.
How about now?
Check, check.
Well, now it's
Check, check.
super crazy echoes on my end. Let me check. Ron's got an echo. Now just Ron. They're saying on my stream, they're saying just Ron has an echo.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. I don't hear an echo from you. I just hear you kind of like potently. Now I hear you just fine.
Yeah, now there's like a crazy echo again. All right. I do have headphones on, everybody.
Oh, you do?
I do have an earpiece in, but let me change this one. There. How's that?
It sounds fine to me. Am I echoing?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
your fans are hearing me echo. People listening on your stream are hearing me echo, and my stream they're hearing you echo.
The world is just an echo.
I mean, if we've ever been accused of having an echo chamber in the indie left media, this might
is
be
it.
time.
This is the ultimate echo chamber. What we're doing right now. We are doing the ultimate echo chamber.
All right, why don't we do this, everybody?
The duopoly is bad, 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 is bad. We need to break the oligarchy, archy.
Medicare for all.
Green New Deal. The climate is collapsing. Vegan smoothies, easy.
Oh, nobody cares.
Gun truck.
Do you want me to just like, I shut mine off and we do it, we say what we got to say on yours, and then we shut yours off and say what we say on mine, and then just
we go back and forth?
Because this is,
yeah, this is weird. I don't know what we should. Well, now people are saying there's not an echo
in your chat. What and everybody listening on my chat in my show, do you hearing an echo from either Ron or myself? Kate, what are you hearing?
Kate, what are you hearing? Bounce between streams and tell us.
I can hear Ron echo. Someone is saying in my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, from our side, on the Graham side, they're hearing a Ron echo, but on the Ron side, they're not hearing a Graham echo.
Yeah, that's apparently there's no echo.
Oh, your echo just stopped. What'd you do?
Really? I don't know. I just believed in myself. All right, so I think we fixed it.
Yeah,
I guess we got it. Yeah, people are saying it's sounding good, and I'm not hearing that echo anymore either.
The echo's gone.
You know what, man? I just prayed hard.
God, Ron, that was you manifested no echo.
I manifested no echo. That's what happened. I just manifested it.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's fixed, so don't touch anything else. All right, everybody. So welcome to Get Your News On with Ron and the Political Vigilante.
Get Your News On with the Vigilante. Political News On with Ron. There's a number of ways we could go about this.
Make Gotham get its news on with Ron.
Yeah.
Great. A vigilante again.
Lucy says, meow, make Gotham great.
Lucy says, shave your knuckles for justice.
Yeah. Shave your paws for justice. That's the name of this stream. Shave your paws for justice. Don't ever shave an animal's paws.
Don't.
But, you know.
Do not.
Trim.
Shave your human paws.
Yeah. You can trim the nails for justice. You can do that. Trim them. just a small trim.
Someone put in the chat, thoughts and prayers working as usual.
Yep, you know it.
So we're gonna make this announcement, and then we'll maybe split.
We're gonna bounce. Yeah, we're gonna just bounce to our own streams after we make this announcement.
After we make this announcement. So there's this thing called the Delta variant, and we're gonna have to cancel all of our October tour dates, and the California dates that we're doing are all still happening. San Francisco, September 11th, Sacramento, September 12th, Flappers in Burbank, September 15th, and the Government Secret Show I'm doing with Lee on September 18th. Those 4 shows in California are all still happening. All of those venues require vaccine proof and tests, I believe. The 2 in San Francisco and Sacramento, those are Live Nation venues. They said proof of vaccine. That's it. So those shows are all still happening. I don't know, Ron, you want to start with the explanation of why? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sure. First of all, this was a very difficult decision. We went back and forth on this an awful lot, and it sucks so hard. I mean, there are not words for how hard this sucks, but we just, we're in a worse place now than we were at this time last year. There's more cases now than there were last year at this time. And we thought about, okay, doing a 3-week run pretty much all across the country. What would that mean? What would happen if somebody got sick at one of our shows? What would happen if one of us got sick and had to quarantine? And, I get that the world is, starting to reopen, and we're probably not going to do another lockdown or anything like that. That's just not going to happen. So everybody is just living in a world where they're just calculating risk with whatever it is they do. And I get that. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we did here. We really miss performing live. It's breaking all of our hearts. And when I don't just mean Graham and I mean every live performer in this freaking world. We're all hurting so hard. And we just decided that, doing some kind of regionally local stuff, that's one thing. But going out for 3 weeks and going all over the place with the variant the way it is, that's probably just not wise. And we scheduled this tour in March thinking that we were playing it safe by picking the fall. We're like, well, by fall, it'll be
done.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
We're just, all these people who are going out in June, that's a little, but us, we're smart. We're picking the fall. Turns out it wasn't the best decision, but who could have seen that coming?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I just want people to understand. So, if you look at our tour dates, we had in the month of October, I think 21 shows in 28 days, which means basically a different city every night. A couple cities, this tour started October 2nd, basically. And then we're going to keep going. We're going to drive for most of it. I mean, we've been back and forth on all of this. Maybe we don't fly. We just drive and keep it. I mean, Ron and I have run through every possible scenario.
We really did.
And, maybe we just don't, maybe because Florida, that's really bad in Florida. Maybe we just don't do the Florida day, or maybe we don't do this, or maybe we just cancel it, or just do this or just the front part, or just these cities and so it's like, and I've seen it here locally, a couple comics tested positive and they had to cancel some shows, and the comics were vaccinated. So they were just sick for a couple days, but they had to sit inside their apartments for a week. And I'm like, if that happens to Ron and I are both vaccinated. So if one of us gets it, I mean, here's a scenario. Like we're in Philadelphia, and the comedy club in Cleveland calls us and says, hey, one of our staff, because this happened to me here in Honolulu, one of the wait staff tested positive for COVID, so now everyone's at the show's got to go get tested. So Ron and I go get tested, and one of us tests positive, even if we were asymptomatic.
Right.
And all right, so now we have to sit in a hotel room and wherever we're at.
And whatever other cities we hit since then. I mean, that's the thing too. Like let's say one of us was exposed. Well, I mean, if one of us is exposed, obviously both of us are going to be. But like, we're both exposed. We don't find out for 3 days or 4 days.
Right.
We have potentially played 3 or 4 more cities. So we have to then contact all of those cities, contact the hotels we were at. I mean, and it's just
email all of the ticket buyers.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, and what if somebody got really sick? I mean, and it's just that as much as this sucks, and it sucks hard, but as much as it sucks, it would suck even more if like one person got seriously ill or worse. I mean, I'd be like, that'd be mortifying for everybody.
I couldn't live with myself.
I mean, how would you feel? So, when you factor all those things in and think, gee, how safe is doing a run like this right now? And a lot of bands are making those similar calls too, where, they're doing some like one-off outdoorsy type things. Obviously, outdoorsy type things aren't really an option for comics, but, they're doing some kind of one-offs. They're kind of staying local. They're doing some stuff and just being as careful as possible. And that's fine. But, the longer runs, a lot of people are staying away from them. I mean, some people have canceled entirely. Some bands, like, they've converted all of their tours to outdoors. As comics, we don't, it's not really possible for us to do that. I wish if it was, I'd fucking do it. If it was, I would totally be like, hey, all of we're getting tents and generators. But it's for comedy that's very, 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 very difficult.
It's difficult to do. And also the other thing too is, so I know some of the guys in the band 11, and they started going on the road in, I think, August. They're a huge band, that they have a huge management team and all this. We're playing 100-seat rock clubs in some cases, or I
mean, guys, they're so big, Graham has heard of them. That's how big of a band they are. Like, Graham knows who they are, guys. And
the only reason I know who they are is because I met them and I was on their cruise ship. That's when I was like, oh yeah, now I know them.
That's
and
so
like
funny. Was it awkward when you met them? Because like, were they like, yeah, we're 311, and you're like, oh, is that what do you guys make a magazine or something? What's that all about?
Is that
like no, you haven't heard down? You haven't heard any of our you haven't like I don't know. Is that on the radio? Is that were you guys in a movie? I might know it. Were you in a movie?
Did I tell you I'm good friends with Joey McIntyre? That's happened when I met Joey McIntyre. We started talking, we were like buddies, and we're like talking on the phone about stuff, and he was telling me he was putting this tour together with the Backstreet Boys. And he was like, we were just talking. He's like, well, you're a comedian. And he's just like running some stuff by me. Like, what do you think of this? We're putting this tour and there's just a lot of logistics. And I thought he was saying it would be as if the New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys were doing a tour together. And so I started saying, well, you could do this. And let's say you're this. And it became clear that I didn't know who he was or what he was talking about. And he goes, no, wait, Graham, I'm in New Kids on the Block. And I was like, oh, for real? He starts laughing. He goes, don't you know your boy bands?
You're like, I thought that was a TV show, like the Little Rascals or something. That's an actual, did you guys have a TV show? I thought you were like, is it like the Monkees?
So I literally was like, oh, wow. So do you have any shows around town? He's like, yeah, the Staples Center. Like that's where
no shit. That's
so, and since then I've seen them live. I've seen New Kids on the Block live a bunch. Their shows are a blast. It's, like,
that's so funny. You had no clue.
No clue.
Like, hey man, I could help you guys out getting booked at a comedy club if that would work for you. I mean, could you guys do your thing there? Sometimes they do like quirky music things. Would you be open to like a Sunday brunch thing? They might be into that.
I don't know. Can they handle 20,000 people at the Sunday brunch? Boy, I don't know. Let me see. Like,
One
I go
time,
see their show for the first time, by the way, and it's at the Staples Center, and it's like hydraulic stages and just dance numbers. They're on wires. I'm like, and afterwards I was like, dude, you sang and danced for 2.5 hours. Like, that was amazing. Just like, I had no idea. I'm like, you know, I tell jokes for 45 minutes on stage. I'm like, oh, I can't even handle this. I'm beat, you know, just standing there being sarcastic with a microphone in my hand.
yeah, right. Dude, one time I performed for a member, like a team player on the New England Patriots, and I had no idea that he was on the Patriots. Like, I had no idea, and he was just talking like it was some fundraiser thing, and he was just talking, and he kept talking about his roommate Gronkowski, and I just thought it was a coincidence. It was just like someone with the same name, and I was like, and I'm like, God, dude. Boston area is great, man. What part of town do you live in? And he goes, Foxborough. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm just like, no shit, man. Do you ever get to any games? And he goes, I get to a lot of them.
I've been to most of them. It's about every Sunday. I'm there.
As of recent, I've really been catching them. And then I see him signing his freaking headshot where he has a football helmet on. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're on the team.
Oh, you play football? Is there any money in that little league? Is that like a startup? I mean,
do they pay you for that? No shit. That's.
Do you ever get to any of the games? Yep. Ever since I signed with the team, I've been at every single game.
The people in Boston, are they into it? Do they like that out there? I don't know. What are they into?
What's the ticket sales like up there?
How do you guys draw there? I know they like hockey. Are they into the thing you do too?
Hey, how do the Patriots draw in Boston? How do they do?
Now, how do you guys draw in comparison to a hurling match? Where do you stack up? Is it like almost the same?
Do you guys know of any good 100-seat venues that my buddy Ron and I could do a show in? Do you guys know?
Maybe you could open for us.
So anyway, folks, back to the canceling the tour thing.
This really sucks. This
is how comedians deal with pain. We laugh. But it blows. And one of the things is we did not want to. It's not just like being stuck in a hotel room having to cancel shows and lose money. It's about what if somebody came to one of our shows and got sick, and we couldn't live with ourselves, and we didn't want to do that. So
that's the only thing that sucks harder than canceling a tour. Like the only thing that sucks more than cancel. Well, there's a lot of things in life that suck more, but you know what I mean. Like, for reference, the only thing that sucks more than canceling a tour in the touring world is not canceling, but someone gets really sick or worse. Yeah, that's worse.
Have no interest in having a super spreader event. And so we're just not going to do that. We're just doing these. Ron and I are doing 3 shows. I'm doing 4, including the government secret show in California, where the venues all require vaccines. 3 of the venues require all 4 of the, I think Dynasty Typewriter might be the only one that gives you the option of negative test or vaccine proof. The other 3, Flappers, Sacramento Punchline, and Cobb's in San Francisco. Those 3 venues are all vaccine proof or not in. You can't come in. So I feel better. That means as an audience member, you feel safe. The staff feels safe. Everybody feels good about that. And the people that yelled at me a month ago on Twitter, glad you're not showing up. So we just and, also, some of you have emailed us and said in our chats, hey, I haven't bought a ticket yet because I'm not sure. I don't feel safe. And some of you are concerned. I don't blame you. I don't think I would go to see a band play in a 100 or 200 seat rock club venue, even if I'm vaccinated with a mask on.
That kind of sucks too, because it's like, I know that no matter what happens when you tour, not everyone's going to be able to attend every show. That's just how it goes. People work. You're only coming into town for one night. But the idea that some people wouldn't be able to attend because they just don't feel safe or because they just don't feel comfortable indoors yet, that's just a freaking bummer. Because it's not like we get to go to every city all the time. We don't. It's a big world out there. We want to do more international stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bummer in that regard. Like, where it's like, we don't want people to not come out because they don't feel safe. So that was another reason why we thought it was best to cancel.
And it you know, like Ron and I have had numerous conversations, not just with our, Ron and I have talked a lot about this, but we've each also separately talked to a lot of our comedian and musician friends about what they're doing. We've heard about bands, you know what, some comic friends of mine specifically, and I know Ron too, are like, I got to go on the road. And they're trying to make it work. And, you know, because they don't have any other ways to earn a living. And while this sucks, and this is the second year in a row that we have now lost a third of our revenue was coming from the road, gone 2 years in a row, gone. Yeah. We're both grateful that we at least have our shows on YouTube and Rockfin, and you know they're keeping the lights on. So we're very grateful for that. We're grateful to all of you, and it's sorry and it breaks our heart, and we're frustrated and we're mad. And I want to say this too: if you have a pre-existing condition and don't want to and can't get the vaccine, I totally get that. If you have fears about getting the vaccine, I understand that too. And I would suggest talking to your doctor and really making a decision. But those that are like able-bodied, healthy, and are not just, I don't want to, for whatever reason, just know that that has a ramification. This is a society and there's a social contract and we all have to participate in it. And we can't get to do what we want to do. I mean, Iceland has a 90% vaccine rate and their hospitals are not full. So, I mean, I'm just saying, and I've already taken a ton of shit for this. I don't care if I take more. That's why I keep making the TikToks. I'm really like, there's other people being affected, just so you know. And I know there's subtleties and gray areas to this discussion and debate, and it shouldn't be black and white. And I'm glad the like reactionary crazies have just flipped out and left. I don't want them as fans. I want critical thinkers. And you can't have free Assange in your Twitter handle and then call me a Nazi. Sorry, you should be about freedom of speech, and we have a right to say this and a right to. And we didn't force anyone. No one's forcing you to get the vaccine if you come to our shows. You just have to make a choice. You can't everybody doesn't get to do everything. You don't get to do everything. I don't get to play in the NBA because I want to. I don't have, like everyone, we don't get to do everything. So I just want people to understand that. I just really want you to understand that, that this like not taking others and into account, like there's rules in society. And does this mean I love big pharma? No, it just means we should question big pharma, but that doesn't mean all medications are bad. Anyone who's taking a prescription drug who doesn't want to take big pharma, who doesn't want to take the vaccine, okay, did you do all? And they're like, do your research. Did you research every prescription drug you take on a daily basis? Did you read all of the studies? Have you done that? Or did you trust your doctor? Huh.
Well, and that's the thing, man. I mean, I researched what was in the vaccine. I did some research about it and I chose to get it. I was like, I feel comfortable getting this. I'm going to get it. And I'm glad I did. And, you know, I understand concerns that people have. I understand, like you pointed out, like there are some people that, you know, like they, for whatever reason, shouldn't get it. And when I say for whatever reason, I mean, like for medical reasons, I don't know all the ins and outs of each one. But again, that's a conversation to have with your doctor. You know, don't ask comedians on YouTube for freaking medical advice. We're not qualified to give it to you. Have that conversation with your doctor.
and I don't want that responsibility.
I don't
Graham,
either.
what should I do? I don't know. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, yeah, and I've gotten those emails, and I'm sure you have too. And
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
I don't know who you are. I don't know your medical history. I'm not a doctor. I have no qualifications. I'm not a scientist. I can tell you what I did, and you
Yes.
can take that for what it is. And I can tell you, like I don't have any, significant health conditions or anything like that. I'm a, 30-something relatively healthy dude, and I made a choice. And take that for what it is. But I don't know you. I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do, other than talk to your doctor. I can tell you that. And sadly, because of the healthcare system we have in this country, some people don't get to do that, which really freaking sucks. And that's a whole different thing.
That's a whole nother. That's again why we're big proponents of Medicare for all. But I just like, everyone's like, you don't know what's in it, and you're putting that in your body. So I, as a comedian, I find the hypocrisy and the jokes in that. That's why I'm like making these TikToks, because it's a way for me to vent my frustrations in a comedic fashion. Cause I'm like, have you ever had a Diet Coke? You know what phenylalanine is? It's in every Diet Coke, as is aspartame, which causes cancer. So I just like I understand the fears, but, and the concerns, but there's people in third world countries begging for this vaccine. I'll tell you that. And that's the thing that's starting to bother me, is I'm seeing only people in first world countries say, I don't want this vaccine, and no vaccine mandates. And while there's third world countries, people are dying. Like, it's insane what's happening in India and other poor countries like that. They're not getting the vaccine. And the big pharmaceutical companies,
that's who's responsible for it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you can't forget that part of the conversation too, where it's like, big pharma is denying these shots to a lot of places around the world because they don't have the money to pay for it. And that is significant, because where does a variant spread the most? Well, it spreads the most among the most vulnerable groups of people. Who are the most vulnerable groups of people? Large portions of people who are completely unvaccinated, because they don't even have the choice to get the shot or not.
Yes.
I know the shots aren't foolproof. They're not. There's breakthrough cases. And honestly, I have a feeling there's a little bit more than we realize, as far as, because it's still a new thing, and it does happen. I know a couple people in my personal life who, they were fully vaccinated, still got it. You do too. So these things are not foolproof. No one's saying they are. But when you have large countries full of people where nobody has gotten any shots because they can't, they don't get to make that choice to get it or not get it. It's not available to them because of big pharma. So,
and the other thing too, all of the vaccinated people I know that have gotten it, none of them were hospitalized. So that's again, and people go, they still got it. Well, no, they weren't hospital. That's what the vaccine promised. The vaccine never promised you're not going to get it. You're less likely to get it. You're less likely to transmit it. If you do get it, you're way less likely to be hospitalized. 90% of the hospitalizations of COVID patients right now are unvaccinated people.
Right.
So that means that still 10% of vaccinated people are going, and who knows, there's all these other factors to take into consideration. What are they eating? What are they drinking? What other medications are they on? What are these how are they counteracting? I don't know. We don't know. I mean, if somebody who drinks a lot, smokes cigarettes, smokes weed, are they doing other drugs? Do they have a bunch of prescriptions they have to do? Do they have heart medication? Do they have anxiety meds, anything like that? Who knows? And that's for the doctors and the scientists to figure out. But I just like, yeah, you're right. When people are like big pharma, I'm like, big pharma is the reason poor countries aren't getting this. There's also the United States State Department. Look at this. So the Sputnik V vaccine, which some people say is maybe the most effective one, the Russians offered it to Brazil. Bolsonaro doesn't give a shit about his people. My ex-wife is Brazilian. I'm still friends with her. And she's like, people from her city in Manaus, she goes, Graham, so many people have just died because he didn't give a shit. And it's not third world, but it's a developing country. So people are packed onto buses. You don't get to remote work when you live in a third world country, or even just America. If you do essential workers, you can't remote work working in a grocery store. You can't Zoom in delivering food. You can't Zoom in, working in a hospital. You can't Zoom in making clothes or whatever. And they're in these other developing countries, people are packed onto the bus past the government mandated maximum, because there's no rules. They're just like, pack people onto this bus. And so people are getting it. So anyway, I want to just go back to the Sputnik V. They offered it, the Russians offered it to Brazil. The United States came in and said, if you accept that, we will stop any of our money that we give Brazil. We won't help you at all if you take that. So they denied, the United States State Department denied Brazilians from getting a vaccine that could help save lives because it came from Russia. So I think I'm not hearing enough of that from the like lefty anti-vaxxers. I'm not hearing this conversation about how the State Department is once again leaning on people and letting people die because it wants to swing its dick around in Russia's face. So, yeah. I mean, we've sanctioned Iran through all of this. I have a friend in Tehran who got COVID. She's better now, thankfully. She went to the doctor and he's like, there was no treatment. There was nothing. She was like, he was just like, go home and rest. You know, that was it. There was nothing. Thankfully, she didn't need to be put on a respirator or anything like that. She's better now, but that's what the American State Department's doing. So that conversation needs to be had more because I'm not hearing anybody say that. I'm only seeing people in first world countries saying, I'm not putting that in my body and not giving a shit that there's billions of people begging for it. So I just want everyone to understand that. And I'm okay with new research on any treatments. I'm all for it.
Oh, me too. I'm all for it. I'm all for more solutions, not less. I mean, who is it? It's a freaking pandemic. It would just be nice if we put science and medicine first and politics second as a world, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Not at all. And America's and the reaction to this shows you once again how awful America's duopoly is. Look what the duopoly is causing. People debating science. Like, it's unbelievable. And we're all being lied to and propagandized and everything. So now there's this rampant, I don't trust anything. And anyone that says something I don't agree with, I'm just going to flip the fuck out and cancel them, which I'm tired of. And I want critical thinkers on this show. People are like, well, ivermectin might work. Great. Do some research. And don't just show me one doctor with one study.
They want to do an extensive thing in Japan. They're trying to do, and great. Like, and it looks like a really extensive study they're looking to do. And I sincerely hope they do it. And I look forward to seeing the results.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the results. And also, someone just put science sucks in the chat. I just want you to know I'm going to block you because you're just being a fucking cunt. And I say cunt the way the Australians and the Brits men call other men cunts and women call men cunts. That's how I'm saying it. And it was a guy, so he's a cunt. So that's the other thing too. I'm all for it. But the problem I'm seeing too is someone like, well, this one doctor with this one study, is it peer reviewed? And who is this doctor? Because we all know
whenever you do that, whenever people do that, and people have done that for so many things, like even people who try to say, well, masks aren't effective and blah, blah, blah. All you're doing when you do stuff like that, you're demonstrating you don't understand how the scientific method works. And we were all taught the scientific method in fourth grade, fifth grade. You're taught how people arrange variables a certain way. They test out hypothesis and they try to find consensus. And they test it and they test it and they test it. So over years and years and years, they tested what does putting a piece of cloth over your face do as far as the suppression of droplets is concerned. And the most common results that they have gotten time and time and time and time and time and time again is that it freaking suppresses droplets. That's what a mask freaking does. So a mask helps. Is it foolproof? Does putting on your mask make you Superman? No. Look, I've gotten the shot. And if I was still, I've gotten the shot. And if I had my mask on and they said, hey, do you want to get on this elevator? Everybody on the escalator, or elevator. I had it right the first time. Everyone on this elevator has COVID, but you've gotten the jab and you can wear your mask. Do you want to get on this elevator? I still wouldn't get on the freaking elevator. I know that this jab wasn't foolproof. I know that wearing a mask doesn't suppress everything. It just helps. But I did both those things because they freaking help. They help.
Yeah. I'm all for peer-reviewed studies. Like you say, more study, more data, more research. Oh, so-and-so had a negative reaction to the vaccine. Great. Let's find out why. What medications were on? Do they have pre-existing conditions? What's their diet? I want to hear what diet has to say about this. because I've seen the news go, this person died from COVID and they had no pre-existing conditions. And they show a picture this one time that early in the thing was this young woman. She was in her 20s. She's the youngest COVID death. This was like in March or April last year. And she had no pre-existing conditions. She was 22 and they showed a picture of her. And, she was a good 80 to 100 pounds overweight. I'm sorry, that's a pre-existing condition. We need to know that. And that's not shaming anybody's body. I'm just saying that you can't say that's not a pre-existing condition. Somebody what is their diet? Are they eating crappy food? Are people on really healthy plant-based diets less likely to get it? What about blood type? Is blood type more or less? Let's find all of the information. I'm all for it. I'm all for as much information as possible. And if they say, hey, these vaccines aren't working as well, but let's find a new one. Let's find a cure. I'm all for it. But just this one, it's this extreme or the other. No way, man. And
yeah,
the other thing too, and now we're gonna have to go back and re-debate masks. No, I'm not debating the flat earth with you. I'm not debating it. I don't want, it's like, and this one doctor who isn't an epidemiologist, hasn't worked in viruses. I want someone that studied viruses. I want their opinion. I want their data and their research. And then I want 50 to 100 other doctors in the same field to peer review that person's study. That's what I want. So this one doctor with this one study, this sounds like the climate deniers. Oh, we found one doctor that's right. One scientist that says
and again, yeah, you don't know how the scientific method works.
Right.
But I will say, Graham, every rule has exception. And there is some speculation out there that cannabis helps prevent COVID. And that I have accepted uncritically. And if anything comes to the surface that contradicts that, I will not accept that. Ever since I saw that, I was just like, yes, that is totally, I don't need to see anything else. That is 100% true. I will accept nothing else. I loaded a bowl and I was like, hey, baby, come over. We're going to do some fucking science. And we've been doing science ever since. And that is you do not need, we figured that one out. Doctors, scientists, just drop it. It's 100% true. Cannabis for sure. Yeah. No questions. That one I accepted uncritically.
Good for you, Ron. And God bless you for you and your lovely wife doing some science.
We're doing what we can for science. We're like, well, I saw this one thing. We better frickin' do our part.
It's like every year there's some study that a new study says wine's good for you. And all these alcoholics go, yeah,
absolutely.
It makes you stronger or whatever the news So, and the other thing too, I want to say, as we've gone through all the emotions of this, Ron and I, and we've had numerous conversations, I was feeling really bad, really the other day, a couple days ago, and we were like, all right, we're going to have to do this now. This is going to happen. And what we were planning, we had to email all the clubs and set a time. Let's do Wednesday. So the last couple of days have just been emailing the clubs and everybody. All the clubs have been really cool, by the way. Yes. This is the other thing that I just want to say, why this sucks. I mean, these are small business. Most of these clubs are like small businesses. Yeah. Some of them are part of some bigger chains, but still they're small business. They're still businesses where a live show supports your local economy so much. I calculated one time, and I did this last year when everything got shut down. For one comedian to fly to another city to do one show, roughly 70 jobs are directly impacted. I counted everybody. The Lyft driver to the airport, the baggage claim person, the gate check, the hotel people I calculated all of them, roughly 70 jobs. So I just want people to know that, but I also, to put it in perspective, is, what's going on in Afghanistan. And this is, maybe we'll talk about this separately or whatever, but I really haven't completely processed my emotions on this as a comedian that went there 3 times to see what's happening. Is there's Bagram Airport there's this. I've been to Bagram. I've been to Kabul. I've been to a bunch of these bases so I was really I can't believe this is happening. And this shit, it was the second year in a row I'm losing this tour, and we love performing, and part of our souls are dying by not performing, and bringing people comedy is me personally, what my purpose in this life is. And, but then I thought, there's people, anyone in Afghanistan would kill to be a comedian in America canceling a tour. I mean,
Sure.
they would
Yeah.
kill to do it.
You put it in perspective.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll say this too, that, you know, it is really tough out there. And, you know, right now, so it's like some performers are going to be canceling shows, some aren't. And, you know, that's just the way it is right now. And don't, you know, I mean, don't like, there's a lot of performers out there where this is their only means of income, and they have not had any income for 18 months. And some of them may not have gotten any unemployment. So, you know, it really sucks, because I mean, like, what are they supposed to do? And, you know, so I guess, you know, there were some people out there. I saw some people who were, you know, shaming people who were touring right now. Not even so much us, but just people in general, like wagging their finger at people for touring, and, you know, don't do that. I mean, so someone once said something like, do what 9 Inch Nails did and cancel everything. I'm like, yeah, they're millionaires. So it's a lot easier for them to just say, we're going to cancel. There's a big difference between someone who has millions of dollars and is able to cancel a tour, and someone who, like, this is all they have. I mean, Graham and I are more fortunate than a lot that, well, I mean, yeah, our incomes took a big hit 2 years in a row. We canceled 2 full tours, a year's worth of tour dates, 2 years in a row. And yeah, we're taking a hit from that. You know, but fortunately we do have other things like our shows and stuff that keep us afloat. So we're a little luckier than most. But, you know, it's not an easy situation for anybody right now. And it's not an easy situation for people. I mean, people want to go out and they want to enjoy things. And, you know, you just got to calculate that risk as to what is a reasonable risk right now and what isn't. And that's what this all comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, we all want to go back. I want to go back to, like, I want to go see New Kids on the Block. You know, I want to go to concerts.
That's the first thing you want to do, huh? That's your first. It's first thing on your list.
Yeah, that's the first thing I want. I want to go to sporting events and concerts and hang out with big groups of friends and, you know, laugh our asses off. And we've been getting to do kind of that. And the idea of, like, you know, everyone's had it tough for any number of reasons this pandemic. I'm not saying, oh, it's been harder on me at all, but being single and living alone, this has been really challenging. I mean, this is hard. This is hard to, like, come home and eat another meal alone. Like, even going through this and just, like, having these conversations with you, we're like, oh, I think we're going to have to cancel. We're going, all right, now we're canceling the October dates. It's canceled. And then just, like, I make a phone call, and then, you know, and I do self-care. I practice all that, but this sucks for everybody. I mean, it's just like a year and a half ago when we were, like, touring and doing shows and, you know, doing live Jimmy Dore shows and getting together for going to rallies. And it feels like 1,000 years ago, man. Like, yeah. I want to go watch MLS. You know, I want to go watch the WNBA, and you can still kind of do that stuff. But, like, we want our full lives back, and we can't, and it sucks. And
everybody does.
Everyone wants it back. And that's why it's pandemics are not fun.
So to close out here, and then we're going to hop off of each other's streams. We will be working with the venues to get everybody refunded because, you know, again, we are just canceling this time around with the uncertainty of the pandemic. These dates aren't going to be rescheduled in their current form. We'll definitely be touring in the future. Absolutely. But this actual specific tour that was supposed to be our 2020 tour is just not going to happen. You know, I mean, we've had to cancel the same tour 2 years in a row. That's a situation I never thought I'd be in my life, really. but you know, pandemics are a hell of a thing. So here we are. And so we are working with the venues to get everybody refunded. The shows that we ran the ticketing for, we'll be getting the refunds out there as quickly as we can. So we appreciate your understanding and your patience. And California, those shows, we'll see you next month. We'll see you in Sacramento.
A week and a half. It's September 1st.
Weeks. Oh, yeah, it is September 1st. So we'll see you this month. We'll see you in San Francisco. We'll see you in Sacramento. We'll see you in Los Angeles. Grab those tickets, ronplacone.com, grahamelwood.com. and let's really make it count, because unfortunately we're not going to get as many shows as we thought we would. So the ones that we can still do, let's just cherish every minute. And that's kind of my message to everyone out there, wherever you're at, if you get to go to an outdoor music concert or whatever, just cherish every freaking second of it, because things are slowly changing, but they're definitely not, quote, back to normal yet. They're just not. And we're not out of the woods yet. And that really sucks. And we're really sorry. And there you go.
And we're sorry. And, we last year's tour was with brown paper tickets, and we know a lot of you had problems. And, if anyone's still having a problem from last year, like, call your bank at that point. But we've got a different ticketing service this time, specifically to not have those same problems again. So it's like Ron said, some of it's the ticketing service we use, some of it is the venue's ticketing service. So we will be working with everybody, and please be patient, and thank you. And again, this sucks. We're sorry. Come see us in California if you can. You got to be fully vaccinated, or at least the test at the Dynasty. Check with the venues protocols, because we have no control over how the venues are running that. So you got to talk to the venues.
Yeah, we have no control over venue protocols. We have no control over state laws or city laws. We have no control over any of that stuff. Some of you leave comments and tweets implying that we do. I assure you we don't. If I had control over any laws, everybody in this fucking country would have healthcare, okay? Or at least everybody in my neighborhood. All right, I don't control laws, I promise you. I promise you. I break some of them, but I don't control any of them.
So thank you for everybody's patience on this. Come to the California show. Somebody just put in the chat some Zoom shows. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We got to deal with all of this immediate cancellation, but there's going to be some Zoom shows in October, and there might be a really cool, there's going to be some bigger, cooler changes to Anything Can Happen. Let me just say that we're working on that, shooting that in front of a live studio audience and getting the money together to do that, to make it like a real game show, old school style, like the ones I used to host when I had really long sideburns.
So you can grow those sideburns back. You can grow those sideburns back and join New Kids on the Block. That's what you can do. And then I'm going to go play for the Patriots.
This October is really shaping up.
Guys, there are brighter times ahead.
Go see Ron play in the NFL, everybody. Let's go. I'm going to be in a boy band. So these things are happening. So thanks everybody for your patience and understanding. We very much appreciate it. We're bummed we can't see all of you on the road. We really wanted to. And, be nice and kind to each other and be reasonable. Flipping the fuck out over somebody that we don't need any more of that. So, look for facts and data and follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, as I say in the show. So unless there's anything else, Ron, for us to say.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and remove you from my stream. You remove me from yours. And then we'll see you guys later. And we'll see you in California, and everyone else, we will see you as soon as we safely can.
Yes. We'll see you in California. And then so I'm going to stay live on my YouTube and Rockfin. And
I'm going to stay live on mine.
Okay.
All right.
All right, brother.
Bye, Graham.
Bye.
All right. I guess that kind of worked, right? I think it did. Yeah, it did. Oh, you're still going. I'm still on yours. You have to remove me. You have to remove me from your stream. Bye, Graham. All right. I still hear you. I did. Oh, okay. We have to leave each other's studios. All right. So let me leave your studio. Leaving Graham's studio. Okay. Am I still here? I'm still. Oh, wow. That's weird how we did that. It worked, sort of. Yeah. I mean, it worked. To everyone listening to the podcast, I don't know how great it's going to be. But yeah. All right. Whew. So there you go. It sucks. I mean, what else can you say? This really sucks. There's no other way to put it. I'm really bummed out we're not going to see y'all in October. But I think it's just the right thing to do right now. You don't need to hear me pontificate about it anymore. We really covered it. We definitely covered it. But that was the big special announcement today. There are a couple things I want to get through. First of all, I wanted to say this about what's going on in Texas right now. And for those of you who don't know, I didn't really prepare this ahead of time, but basically, here, so check this out. This is from NPR. What the Texas abortion ban does and what it means for other states. The U.S. Supreme Court is not doing anything, and a new law went into effect in Texas that bans abortion after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. The law also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers and anyone else who helps a woman obtain an abortion, including those who give a woman a ride to a clinic or provide financial assistance to obtain an abortion. Private citizens who can bring these suits don't need to show any connection to those they are suing. The law makes no exceptions for cases involving rape or incest. All I can say about this right now, I mean, first of all, Texas, I'm so freaking sorry, and I'm rooting for y'all. And I know that there are a lot of people in Texas, especially women, who are really suffering right now as a result of this. And all I can say is there's a book called Handbook for a Post-Roe America. I'll repeat that, Handbook for a Post-Roe America by Robin Marty. I recommend that book and getting the most updated electronic version of that book because they update it. It provides a lot of resources as far as what you need to do in a situation where health services and abortion services are not easy. And it goes through it state by state. And it also lists a bunch of groups that are trying to make the situation better for people. And, Texas is featured as well. I had a friend of ours, my wife and myself, she moved to Texas for a job recently. And she knew that those kind of things were looming in Texas. And she said, because I'm moving to Texas, I want to get involved and I want to try to help. And I told her, that book is a good first start to find out some of the local resources that might be near you and what kind of organizations you can help out with. So, I recommend that to anyone who may need it. I read that book myself, and I read it when shortly after I got engaged. In fact, to tie it back to touring, I read that book when Graham, Elwood, and myself were in Australia. Graham and I were touring Australia. That was, God, so much freaking fun. God, I miss it so bad, y'all. I miss it so bad. And it hurts so bad right now to know that, a lot of it's not going to happen. Most of it's not going to happen. But at least not this year. But I can tell you this. Once it's safer again, I think I could speak for Graham too. We're going to make up for lost time. We are going to make up for lost time. I can promise you that. But anyway, I read that book in Australia because I was about to get married. Our Australian tour, the one that Graham and I went on, was about 5 months before my wedding. And I kind of realized, it's not just me anymore. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of heavy thing when you get married. And I'm not saying that you need to get married to have a relationship like that. I get it. Marriage is not for everyone. And, I'm not judging anybody who doesn't go that route. That's fine. But, for me, that was kind of one of the things that it really meant. It's not just, a piece of paper registered with the state. It's just it's not just me anymore. It's a household. So I thought about my wife and I thought about how, I don't have to worry. As a male, I, as an individual, don't have to worry about those types of things the way a woman does. I still care about it. I still worry about it because the world doesn't revolve around me. And I, while I'm not a perfect person, I care about people other than myself. You know what I mean? But I, as an individual, it's nothing I would ever have to tackle on my own as a person. I hope that makes sense the way I'm framing it. That doesn't mean I don't care. Of course I do, but when you get married and you realize like someone else is in the boat with you, you don't think from the perspective of I'm at a table for one. You think of the perspective of this is my household. And so I read that book because, I wondered if things really go in a dangerous theocratic direction in this country, which they very well may, and in many states they do all the time. What I need to do, if my wife ever needed something like an abortion or anything like that, what I need to do, or even just similar services. I mean, a lot of the Planned Parenthood and organizations like that provide abortion services, that's about less than 3% of what they do. So this is more than just, it's not just about abortion. This is about attacking women's rights in general and attacking women's health in general. And it's always been that way. And so I recommend that book. And that's really all I have to say about that, to be honest. So that's some more shitty news. That's some more shitty news. And the other thing I wanted to mention, and again, I'm kind of flying off the seat of my pants today because, Graham and I were planning on making this announcement and we weren't sure how it was going to go streaming simultaneously. And for some of the echo issues, I apologize. But there is something going on with Elijah McClain. It is breaking. Elijah McClain, of course, was the violin player who was murdered in Colorado. His crime was being black and playing the violin for stray cats. That's what he was guilty of doing. He was just this genuine sweet guy that police murdered for no reason. And then when they had a violin vigil for him, police showed up like foot soldiers and just started cracking heads of people playing violins. They had a permit to do it, by the way. They had a permit for it. And police just rolled in there like frickin' stormtroopers, like soulless stormtroopers, and just started cracking heads. We showed the footage on this show. We interviewed people who were there. That's what fucking happened. And that's not an embellishment. That's not being too hard on cops. That's the fucking truth. And if you want to lick the boot of the police force, at least be honest about what they're doing. They're not there to serve and protect. They're there to brutalize at the behest of the ruling class. And they are a system based in white supremacy and racism. That's how they've always been. That's the system they adhere to. But here's some news. Officers and paramedics are charged in the death of Elijah McClain. A grand jury has returned a 32-count indictment against officers and paramedics involved in the death of Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man. I'm reading from CBS right now. A 23-year-old black man who was put in a chokehold by Aurora police and injected with a sedative during an August 2019 arrest. Colorado's Attorney General announced Wednesday. The charges include manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. McClain's death gained widespread attention last year amid a national reckoning on police brutality and racial injustice that followed the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. In June 2020, Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser launched an independent investigation into McClain's death, and in January announced a grand jury would determine whether officers and paramedics involved should be charged. Weiser on Wednesday said two Aurora police officers, Nathan Woodard and Randy Rodema, former police officer Jason Rosenblatt, and Aurora Fire and Rescue paramedics Jeremy Cooper and Lieutenant Peter Kahunik, have been charged with 1 count each of manslaughter and 1 count each of criminally negligent homicide. 2 of the officers face additional assault and crime of violence counts, and the 2 paramedics also face assault counts in addition to counts of recklessly causing bodily injury with a deadly weapon, the sedative ketamine. So, again, this is my first time hearing of this, so I don't have a fully framed take yet. I do think that I think the officer charges, I'm 110% for. The charges against the paramedics, I don't have a solid take on that yet, because if memory serves me right, there might have been a situation where the officer kind of made them do it. So that might be a little murky. So I don't have. I would need to do a little more digging into that. But as of right now, that's what we know so far. They're bringing about charges against the officers and against the paramedics as well. Paramedic, I don't have a solid grasp on yet. But the officers, I'm glad they're facing charges. And I hope that justice is served. I'm certainly not getting my hopes up, though. I wouldn't cross my fingers. Or, I mean, I would cross my fingers, but I wouldn't make a bet on it. Let's just put it that way. All right. There's a super chat I didn't get to yesterday that I apologize for. I missed a couple super chats yesterday. I'm going to do that now. Venetia David, thank you so much for the sticker of the lady in the pink hair. I appreciate it very much. And I apologize for missing it yesterday. I just kind of spaced yesterday, and I apologize. But thank you very much for that, Venetia. And I hope all is well in London. I believe you're in London. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I hope all is well in London, and I can't wait to see you there. Like I said, once it's safe again, I am making up for lost frickin' time, and I am going all the places in the world I want to go, and I'm going to perform for you. I'm already 2022. First of all, we're going to, definitely going to be touring some in 2022. Definitely going to be making up for some lost dates and some lost cities. And also, originally 2022 was hoping to go to Canada. I still plan on doing that. Basically, the 2020 tour was just, it just canceled. I mean, there's no getting around that. We tried to reschedule it for this year. It got shut down again this year, or we chose not to do it. It was a very difficult choice. I don't want to reiterate everything that we've just talked about, but I am just going to kind of start again in 2022. That's the way I look at it. 2022, just kind of restarting everything. And I'm going to be going to a lot of places, and I can't wait to see y'all. And we're going to make up for lost time. I promise that. Red Pill, I'm depressed over voter suppression laws and no Medicare for all. I feel you, Red Pill. I feel you. And thank you for that super chat contribution. And I'm sorry that I missed it. Let me go over to the Rockfin. Richard, what's up? You need to share this £2 with Graham. Thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate that. And I hope all is well. I know you're in the UK too, Richard, I believe. So I don't know if you're in London or if you're elsewhere, but good to see you. And I can't wait to see you over in the UK at a show. It's going to happen. Venetia, you also leave a Rockfin tip. Thank you so much for that. So sorry, guys. Thank you for that. One day this pandemic will be over, and we'll all be able to see you live when it's safe. You've made the right decision. Thank you for that, Venetia. Thank you very much. This was not an easy decision. It was a very, very difficult decision. And Stargazer, what's up? You guys made the right choice. See you soon. Thank you for that, Stargazer. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And over on the YouTube, J.H. Scott, thank you very much for the super chat contribution and the smiling pair dropping the mic. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. There you go. J.H. Scott, and over on the Rockfin, Venetia David, and Stargazer, and Richard Talk, and of course, from yesterday, Venetia David again, and Red Pill. Thank you very much for your super chat contributions and your Rockfin tips. You help keep this show on the air. And my GoFundMe. I have some GoFundMe folks to thank. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat as well, like I often do. Yeah, you know how that goes. The GoFundMe for my movie is still going on. Please check it out. Check out the trailer. If you're able to contribute, that's great. There's all kinds of cool perks if you contribute. Like you can get there's a virtual screening we're going to do with a Q&A with the cast and the cat. Some people were like, well, what about the cat? Lucy is in the movie, folks. Lucy was in the trailer. She's already made an appearance, and she's already casted in the movie as well. So Lucy's part of the cast. She'll be taking questions. Yeah. So don't worry about that. And you can get that. There's all kinds of backstage footage we're going to make. There's all kinds of backstage interviews and behind the scenes footage. We're going to send those videos out to people who contribute. And also, you get a thank you on Get Your News On with Ron, which is what I am about to do right now. Let me go through my thank yous here. Anthony Zinkus, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you very much, Anthony, for your contribution. Cheryl Sanchez, thank you so much. Kathy J. Lloyd, thank you so much, Kathy. Brittany Farrell, thank you so very much. And Linda Corey, thank you very, very much for helping to make this movie a reality. I can't wait to break ground on this thing. And thank you to everyone who has contributed. For those of you who are interested, and maybe you're listening to the podcast later, again, everyone watching it right now, I left the link in the stream. But to find the movie trailer, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is just Ron Placone. It's up there. You can go to my Rockfin channel, just Ron Placone. Again, it's up there. On my Twitter, which is just at Ron Placone, it is my pinned tweet. And you can also get the links to the GoFundMe from any of those places. And if you just want to go straight to the GoFundMe, you can watch the full trailer there, make a decision whether you want to contribute or not. GoFundMe.com, type in left at wall. That's left at wall, and it comes right up. And again, thank you so very much to Anthony Zinkus, Cheryl Sanchez, Kathy J. Lloyd, Brittany Farrell, and Linda Corley. Thank you so much for helping to make this movie a reality. And I can't wait to break ground on it for all you guys. Goulet, I hope I'm not mispronouncing it. Goulet user, is that right? I have a feeling that's not right, but I'm doing my best. Goulet user, you say, stay safe, Ron. We love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Goulet user. Very much appreciated. And thank you for the super chat contribution. And thank you guys all so much. And again, I'll go through it again. J.H. Scott, Goulet user, Red Pill, and Venetia David over on the Rockfin as well. Richard Talk over on the Rockfin, and Stargazer over on the Rockfin. Thank you guys so much for helping keep this show on the air. And thank you guys so much for the past week and a half, really. Thank you for your love and support. Again, I know I talked about it a lot on Monday, so I don't want to rehash all of it. But thank you so much for all the love and support you guys gave while Lucy was sick. And she's doing a lot better. She's not quite out of the woods yet, but she is doing much better. And she gets better and better each day. I'm looking over at her right now. Thank you guys so much for your support there. It meant a lot. You guys made me cry. You made me cry. I appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, of course, for your understanding through this. It hasn't been my favorite couple weeks. I'm not going to lie. Hasn't been my favorite few weeks. Between a sick cat and canceling a tour, not my favorite few weeks, guys. It has not been a very good few weeks. So I really appreciate your support through all this. It means the world and then some. And to everybody, thank you for bearing with us as we tried to simulcast our announcement. I know it didn't go flawlessly as far as tech was concerned, but thank you for being here today. Today was a special episode. This was a kind of random episode. Everything was kind of all over the place, and we were trying to make this special announcement. So it's a weird episode. But shout out to our friends over at Indie Left who make this possible. Indie Left is a place to find all the content creators and streamers you know and love. They curate a list. They update it twice a day to find out everything they got going on and to subscribe to their Discord. Check them out at independentleft.media. That's independentleft.media. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. And I will see you very soon. We're going to be upping. I think we're going to change some of the schedule here for this stream. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So some things are going to go a little differently. But anyway, you know the drill in the meantime. Lucy, she says meow. She says thank you too. And I say thank you. And I say peace. And I say, California, we can't wait to see you in the next couple weeks. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento, can't wait to see you. And everyone else, we'll see you soon when it's safe. And I miss you all very much. And it sucks not being able to get out there. But when it's safe, I'll be back out there. We'll be back out there. So to everybody whose city we won't be coming to this year, and to everybody in other parts of the world that we haven't even hit yet, we're going to see you really freaking soon. And we're going to make up for lost time. We're going to make up for it. I promise. I love you all. Peace.